Shalom. I wish I could say it's great to be back. I wish I can bring the clock back to last week before this terrible tragedy took place, this catastrophe. But right now we are all in uniform and called up, everyone for the duties, the special duties they're doing. 2 sons in the front lines, other nephews and family members scattered around the country in different locations, protecting the country. And I'm sure you're all waiting for some words of encouragement out there, who's ever going to, whoever follows us. And this week's portion, Bereshit, the beginning, I wish I knew where to begin. And I think we have to focus today on a little bit, update on what's happening and some definite words of encouragement we all need. I don't know really where to begin, and I'll just try to start by, going back. I remember years ago, when my wife and I, we had the privilege, the blessing to return to our homeland. We're only this young couple, 21 years old, and we moved to Israel. We were so excited to be part of a pioneering spirit of joining community in Judea and Samaria. And we spent the first year studying in yeshiva. My wife in Machon Nora, I was studying in Machon Meir in Jerusalem. And at the same time, we were searching for a community to spend our lives, to move to do something important in this world. And miraculously, we found the community of Itamar. It was just starting out at that time, and we joined forces with the first nucleus that formed the community. We were only about 10 families then. And it was unbelievable. I remember coming on the road. In those days, we were able to travel through the city of Ramallah. Today, there's bypass this, bypass that. And we traveled. It was tense on the road, but we came to Itamar, and we were received by a wonderful family, Rav Ronsky. He was a former chief rabbi of the Israeli army. He passed away a few years ago, a giant, a great individual, fighter of Israel, hero of Israel. And they invited us into the house, and they were surprised to see a truck full of a lot of stuff. They said, where this young couple get all this stuff from? I said, well, we moved to Israel from America, and we came, we took what we had. And we moved, so proudly to be part of this young group of pioneers that were trying to build the mountains of Samaria to start a community here in Itamar. And life was so precious and beautiful and so peaceful. And didn't last long. This was way back in 1985 when we first joined forces with Itamar. We made Aliyah. But shortly after being on the community for a few months already, we were beginning to be introduced to the violence around us, of the Arabs around us throwing rocks at us and Molotov cocktails and roadblocks. And the first Intifada way back began then, where it was a normal situation to drive anywhere, going out. And by the way, we didn't have many cars here. We had to sign up for a car. There was like one car of the community. And we had no bus service coming in and out. We had a generator, literally living out here in the frontier of the land, the heartland, the Bible Belt. And those days were very special. On one part, feeling we're doing something important for the land, to return to the place of Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But unfortunately, to contend constantly with the terrorism, which I said began way back, we had like a little time when we moved in for a little quiet time, but very quickly things began to flare, and I'm not going to go through all the details, but we went through the first Intifada of a lot of injuries of rocks and rock throwing and roadblocks and Molotov cocktails, which eventually turned into shootings and bombs and explosions. And we're all familiar with Itamar as a community. Everyone has heard of the terrible tragedies we've been through as a community over the years. Since they announced the wonderful Oslo Accords, that they're saying now they were arming and training the Arabs, training them, the Fatah, right, so-called the PLO, Arafat's goons, giving them supplies and money, hoping that they would somehow control this population of it's hard to even mention the words, to what was done, the atrocities that were committed. But unfortunately, it was only the small groups of the settlers, the pioneers, that were screaming, "Don't give them weapons." We were demonstrating in the streets, but no, they gave away areas of our precious homeland, autonomous areas. They gave them to be ruled by the Fatah, which of course, Hamas, Fatah, Jihad, they're all the same. And very quickly, we saw the result when they unleashed those weapons, when they had light weapons on us. We saw the results. And how many of my dear friends were murdered, my neighbor and neighbors all around us, children, when we had infiltrations in the community, where a high school massacre, to see students die right there in front of me. And the Fogel massacre, of course, everyone's familiar with the Fogel massacre, on the roads and shootings, and I don't even want to mention the terrible things that we've been through. But again, it was always, look, the settlers, we bring it upon ourselves because we want to live in the heartland and the land of Israel. And we've been shouting again all these years, don't give them weapons. And unfortunately, this conception, this understanding is what was been going on in the Gaza Strip when Ariel Sharon did the most, it's not to be believed, a one-sided withdrawal of our precious homeland. We were living in Gaza for 3,000 years. We go back, the Jewish people. And the northern Shomron decides to evacuate for no reason, to give up our precious homeland. And leaders of Israel, those who were connected to the Torah and spirituality, were saying, we can't rip apart our land. We were the vest, the bulletproof vest, literally, of the communities in the coastal area, and the communities, of course, in Gaza were there, the army was there, the Hamas, and these evil, I don't want to mention it, worse than animals. They may look like human beings some way because they walk on two legs, but they're animals. These ICs, they're just no words to describe them. They were allowed a freedom to build themselves armies, and they were supported by different countries of the world. To this very day, the European Union is pouring money in and allowing illegal building around us to try to choke us out in developing, they're developing their armies for one goal in mind, to uproot the Jew from their homeland, from the land that was given to them as an everlasting inheritance. And that's this week's portion, the first Rashi in the Torah. The land was given to you, the Jewish people. God gave it to the land of Israel, to the people of Israel, for an everlasting inheritance. And all we see again is the world coming along and creating a false reality of Israel, the oppressors, Israel, the occupiers. A false reality, fake news. Look in the Bible. It is the land of Israel is given to the land, an everlasting inheritance to the Jewish people. But the world is buying all this, and you have all those liberals and campuses throughout the world in these universities, and Harvard University, oh wow, wonderful, great university names. Go on with all the different names of protesting on behalf of murderers that are killing women and children and mutilating them, raping, and atrocities that take us back to Nazi Germany. And they stand with them, they walk with them. Israel's tried for so hard for true peace, in truly reaching their hand out for peace. I don't know, we don't have to prove to anyone that we are righteous people, that we're caring people, and that we're people of mercy. But it's very clear, and our sages teach us this very clearly. Those who will be cruel to the merciful eventually will turn around, and that cruelty. This is a rule that we have to take to our hearts so powerfully. And we see, well, maybe I'll mention the story it comes from. The story is from King Saul. When King Saul, God told him, you must wipe out Amalek. And King Saul right away had mercy on the evil and mercy on those we had to be cruel towards. God said, wipe out Amalek. And he left Agag alive. And look what happened as he was left alive. Later on is that same King Saul that shows his cruelty towards the merciful. So the expression in Torah is Mish merachem al achzarim sofo litachzer al rachmanim. Those who are merciful towards the evil, at the end will take that achzariyut, that cruelty, towards the merciful. And that's the warped situation of false liberality, progressive liberality, which we see in the world today, is that instead of having mercy on the majority of normal people in the world, they are showing mercy to the evil and allowing evil to lift up its head and to wreak havoc all over the world and cause destruction. Here in Israel, we have to be the forerunners to stand up against evil and not stop until we finish the job. As King David said, I will chase after my enemies, I will not stop until I will seek them out to the end. Now the hour has come. Israel has to seek out its enemies everywhere there are and they're hiding and eliminate them so that there will be true peace in the world. Right now, the world was very good to see, heartwarming to see the United States and Europe, people standing with Israel. I don't know how much longer it's going to last when the Arabs of Gaza are going to start to run here and there. Very soon it's already coming out. Oh, they're going to decide, wait, what's going on? You're being too hard. Israel has proven to the world already. We've seen enough that we have to finish the job. And then at the end of this, we will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, we are threatened with a very vicious enemy in the north, which is even more powerful than the enemy of the south. I mean, the Hezbollah are armed more, even they have much more missiles, much more training. And if we saw what happened, when I think about the numbers, over 1,300 Jews were murdered and killed in one day. The United States is 40 times the size of Israel. We're talking about one day killing 43,000 people. If you can think about the proportions over here. This is what went on. In the most brutal way, burning people alive, cutting heads off children, raping, dragging elderly through the streets of Gaza, abusing them, as we saw what's been going on. Here in Hawara, a pizza store shows a picture of one of the women taken in captivity with a pizza as their advertisement for people to go buy in their store. Thank God that the office and command, central command, destroyed that pizza shop last night. We can't let the evil lift its head up. Now is the time for the world to stand with Israel and to lift our heads up high and not be afraid of what they may say. We have to do what is ethically right now. And that is to fight. There's a time of war and there's a time of peace. Now we are in the time of war. Every one of us, we are all called up. As I mentioned, grandfathers all the way down to youngsters are called up to defend the state of Israel, the homeland of the people of Israel, our everlasting, eternal homeland. All of you wonderful supporters of Israel, I want to mention, that are out there, abroad, and are standing with us and demonstrating on our behalf and sending funds in to help Israel now. I want to bless you all that you're on the right side, and God will bless you for that. I know many of you want to be here standing, fighting with us right now, but your need is also great there. You're there now, and you're doing important work on the ground on that side. And instead of moping and walking around, do something. Get up and do what you're doing. Raise funds for Israel. Stand with us by lobbying on behalf of Israel. Demonstrate on behalf. Don't let the evil out there try to spread false lies. Go into the university campuses and let the truth be heard. And it's enough of those false, progressive, so-called spiritual leaders, in quotes. They're supposed to be educated in the world for destruction. It's time to hear the truth in the world. We cannot let them lift their heads up. We have to be strong and be proud, and you have to be out there teaching the world the truth. It's time for the truth to be heard. We can't anymore. I want to bless you all for a beautiful Shabbat. I'm sharing a little bit with you. The stories later will come out more of the tremendous gvura, the tremendous heroism on our fighters and on our soldiers. It's unbelievable stories that are coming out. But we have to work hard on our connection, our spirituality to the Torah, because we know the ethics of the Torah is so perfect and so pure. And if we were walking with God and walk with the Torah, we have no fear. A lot of people asking the most difficult question, how did God allow these children to be killed and mutilated? How it's like the Holocaust, the same question. And my answer is, of course God intervenes on our behalf. Of course God is behind us. We have to realize that we have free will. If someone runs out in the middle of a major highway, they're going to get hurt. There's no way you're going to stop it. This nature, God allows us to make choices. And if we're making choices for years of this conception, I said, of leaders of Israel thinking that will pacify them with money, with allowing them to come, a certain amount to come here to work in Israel, they'll come. But no, they allow them to take that money to build up a vicious army of devils that are coming out to do the worst, to murder and destroy. And we cannot allow this anymore. And that's what happened. So we have to cleave and strongly to our Torah. And we have to do what is right, what is ethically right. And now is a time of war. Peace will come again. I want to ensure all of you and encourage all of you. You know, we had a terrible loss. I mentioned before, the numbers are equivalent to over 40,000 people in a country like America in one day being killed. The numbers are terrible. But Israel has known always the power of perseverance and to survive and to overcome. And the Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker, the eternity of Israel will not lie. We will overcome this madness and we will see the great light. We are at a very special time. And the day this broke out was on the 8th day, Shmini Atzeret, the 8th day of the holiday, the special day that God hugs Israel with a special holiday, special for Israel. I mean, the days before the Sukkot is all about the 70 bulls in Israel. On the day of Shmini Atzeret, there's one sacrifice we offer. God saying, this is another day for my nation Israel, the apple of God's eye. And unfortunately, there was so much division in the land of people disrupting services on Yom Kippur. The 8th day was the day that God closes the judgment. And when the lack of unity in Israel, that's what gives the power to all these enemies. God created the world. There are rules in the world. And when the rules are broken and the ethics is broken, we can't go complain, why you did it? Why did we do this? And we have a way, just like we did the terrible thing by not being unified, we can rectify this by unifying our country. And that's what's happened. You can see from all walks of life in Israel, from right to left, religious and non-religious, everyone's joining forces together to fight the enemy of Israel. And all of you out there, again, I want to bless you all for being part of that. You're soldiers on the ground out there for us. God bless you all, and we will win this war. Shabbat Shalom, and good news from the land of Israel, God willing, soon.